Hello, everybody. Hope all of y'all are doing really well and uh, yeah, coping up with the extensions of the lockdown. I know it's a little hectic, can get a little boring too, but then the end of it, it's good for everybody. Especially how just when the season almost was getting over, all this happened. So I'm sure everybody's getting enough time to relax and peace out and yeah, get some energy back as to so much touring and shows were going on during the season time. So of course it's better to go about it like this. So today we're going to be discussing a little about our recordings and virtual playback because of late, we did some 3 webinars till now, and then a lot of people have been really keen on knowing and discussing about how the recording scenario works on Digicos. Uh, since there are plenty of requirements as well, whenever you guys are doing shows, most of the bands or sound engineers they do willingly require to record the show. Sometimes not just the stereo recording, but also multi-track recording, which is good. And having a digital console, mostly it's quite simple for you to be able to provide this quite easily, yeah, without much of a hassle. There are multiple ways of recording on Digico consoles, as you must be knowing already. We have the console has MADI BNC MADI ports at the back of the console where you could just connect your UB MADI or MGB for that matter and record. In fact, here's I have something for you which I could show you guys, which is the recording devices that we have. As you can see, there's a DMI Waves card. There's a regular Waves card, the Stealth Waves card that you see, which is mostly available on most of the consoles in India. These are accessories, of course, but then most of the times we make sure that we try and get this along as a whole package so that, yeah, it's just easier for people. Uh, I hope you guys can now hear me a little better. I was hearing from people that my mic level is a little low. Excuse me for that. Yeah, so we have these DMI cards, the Waves cards, which work on a simple Ethernet connection. You can record up to 64 channels of signal and play it back. So 64 from either the DMI Waves card or the other regular Stealth Waves IO card. So these cards are basically just only if talking about the Digico consoles, these cards are mostly just like an IO card or a device which carries your signal outside of the console and brings it back, which is what we do for our waves because we send those channels out onto the Wave SoundGrid servers and we do our processing over there, and then we get the processed signal back onto the onto the console. Uh, so instead of processing that signal, we're just routing that signal. I'm sorry, we're just routing that signal to another DAW wherein we can just record it. So yeah, just using it like a sound card for that matter. Then we have UV MADI, of course, and the MGB device. MGB is a like Waves DigiGrid device, so you can record same BNC protocol, or UB MADI also is the BNC protocol. What a lot of people don't know about is that our stage racks that we have, which do support a BNC protocol, which supports the BNC MADI protocol. What you can do is, if you're using a particular I'm sorry, if you're using a particular stage rack on 48 kilohertz, so you still have the aux MADI connections of that particular stage rack free. So, and if you're using two stage racks on an SD10, so you've exhausted your MADI ports on the console, but if you still feel like you need to record that show and you have a BNC device, a MADI device, for example, a UB MADI or something, you can just connect the UB MADI with your BNC cables with the aux MADI port of the stage rack and you'll still be able to get all the 48 input channels from that stage rack provided you're working at 48 kilohertz, which is again, like, you can do that with an SD rack or a D2 rack as well. So yeah, it's quite helpful. Uh, yeah, and let's talk about a few different types of recordings that people would might require when it comes to your console recording setup. I am gonna just quickly show you guys the channel list for once. So as you can see, all the input channels also have the any channel for that matter in your channel list section has similar columns and has the like all of them. So you have your main input, and it's basically laid out in a very similar manner, wherein you also see your inputs, inserts, group, assignments, outputs. So I'm gonna check out my. There is a way where people would like to record, post processing. You're doing a multi-track recording, but a lot of people would like to record their, dynamic processing from the console, or your EQs and filters from the console, or if you're using certain inserts of the console which you would require to record as well on a particular channel. So you want all that processing to be recorded. So that is the time when you would actually look to record from a direct out, because direct out gives you the possibility of 3 different positions to record from, which is pre-mute, pre-fader, and post-fader. So depending on what you are looking for exactly, you choose your positions and you can start recording. So in this case, you can like directly assign a direct out from here as to whichever port you've connected it to, either your Waves port or your MADI ports. So you just simply select and just keep patching them these from here. You can select your positions from right here. It says post right now, that means it will also record what your fader levels are doing. If it's pre-fader, and this case, if your channel is muted, it won't get recorded. But if you want the channel to be recorded, all the time, if it's muted or not, you always keep it on the pre-mute section. Let's check out how we need to set up our recording device, whichever we are using. For example, say we're using a UB MADI in the current scenario. So here I have my let's say a D2 rack patched on the first track. Sorry, just give me a second. It does that sometimes. Wow, this hasn't happened before. Hi. Welcome back. I'm just gonna select my D2 rack for the time being. So every time you change a stage rack, it will give you a warning, and it'll tell you what the consequences are that you could be facing. So yeah, it'll tell you that this will lose all the current state settings for this device. You'd still like to continue? I don't mind, why not? Yeah. So this is how a default D2 rack looks like. You'll have 48 input channels, which is your we call it ADC cards, and these are your 2 output cards. Okay, so it's flexible, and you can add 2 more output cards with each channel of outputs. So you can choose between AES, Avium, or a different card like that. Alright, so I am recording with a UB MADI, say. So this is the correct device type that you would be looking at if you're recording with a MADI device, or UB MADI for that matter. So you keep this as the standard MADI selection. This is your MADI 2. There's a very simple way of doing a patch from channel 1 to 48 of this particular stage rack to channel 1 to 48 of your UB MADI, and back the other way as well. So you just go to your first stage rack, you select your copy audio 2 section over here, and as you can see, it already shows you the second port. So what it's going to do if I select this is it'll automatically patch all these channels 1 to 48 to the channels 1 to 48 of my second MADI port. So just select that. As soon as I select this, you'll see if you go back to this section, my 48 channels have become red over here, which means that this has been patched. Okay, so this will I just have to do this for my recording to happen. So what this is going to do is this particular stage rack signals. Of course, you know by now that the preamp values that you set are all on these cards itself. So the recording that is going to be taking place will be all inclusive of your gains, because the preamp is on the card on the stage rack itself. But all the other processing which is happening on the console will not be recorded, and you'll just be recording purely gains in the signals from your stage rack. So that it's like if you're looking at a better studio processing scenario, then you can do that later with that different processing than the console's processing if you want to record. So you can just do that from there. Yeah. Another way of patching, say for example, I am not using a UB MADI and I am trying to record from the Waves port. So if you notice, it doesn't show the Waves port over here. So another workaround for that is the copy audio section which you'll find at the top in the setup tab on the master screen. So if you go there and if you see the second option says copy audio over here, you just select that, and yeah, you will see your ports exactly the way you see your ports in the audio IO section. So just as you can see, this says inputs over here and this says outputs over here. So this means that the input signal that you are looking to record, and this is where you are planning to record the signal. So of course, if I try now, I won't be able to patch because I'm not in the edit mode yet. So I'll just go down and I'll select edit over here. And then I can do a rack 1 to waves patch, select and patch it all the way. Yeah. You see, so the exact same patch would happen if I actually patch from the audio IO page as well. Yeah. So say if I choose to remove this, oh no, shit. Oh, okay, thank God. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, I don't have the Facebook screen in front of me right now. If you guys have questions, please keep typing in the comments section and I will get to them in a bit. We're almost through the topic anyways, that's fine. Yeah. So if I go into audio IO, as you would be able to see, I'm just gonna quickly show you guys what happens if I do the copy audio patch from here. I'm just acting a little funny today. Alright, so if I copy my audio to my UB MADI port from here, and now if I choose to check out what has happened on the copy audio section, you see all my ports have been patched to the second MADI port automatically. So it's just a quicker way of doing the same thing from the audio I/O panel. But if you're patching on Waves, you have to patch it from here. At least as far as I remember. I don't know if there's a quicker way of doing it. Not as of now. I'm not aware of it. So yeah, so that is how you just simply patch your input channels if you're recording directly from the preamp value. But if you want to record something wherein you are also looking to record the processing, you would have to come to the layout section, channel list, and again select edit here and just patch your direct outs from here. Simple as that. Say I wanna patch it to see if it'll already show you what channels are previously being used onto the console. As you can see, these red blocks over here, they're telling us that these channels are already in use. If you notice, post 48 it won't show because we only patched all the way till 48 from our stage rack. So I'm just gonna like patch it on. There you go. So you will have to put it on if it's not come on directly. So just make sure that the direct out is on, otherwise it won't work. So these are like the few buttons that you need to make sure that you're taking care of. Okay, and it doesn't, I think it did. Cool. So you see, it's all, that's what Ripple Patch does. It's quite nice and simple and like good for lazy people like us. You can trust it. It won't do something bad. It'll do it the correct way. Okay, let's talk about. So this is about recording. Now you have the signal recorded. Your gig went well. You're happy. You turn like you have a show the very next day. Same band, same setup, same guitarist, everything, same patches. And you're like, yeah, why not? Why should I wait for the band? Might as well keep myself ready and do the changes that I might have to for the room. Yeah. See, of course, again, multiple ways of doing the same thing. Okay, I'll tell you what I've seen people do, and I'll tell you a quicker way of doing it as well. So you can assign alt inputs over here. Basically what this does is, alright, let's go to edit. Out of the exact same channel, say for example this is my kick in, kick out, so on. I am gonna assign as what I had assigned the output, right? So I had assigned my, say for example, waves out up till 48. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'll select 48 over here and I'll select the alt input to do a ripple patch of waves 1 to 48. So all my channels from 1 to 48 have the waves patch now. Now all I have to do is I can just create a macro where I'll just do it and show it to you guys also. So if I select okay. Select option all. Oh my god. Something's up today with my computer. Yeah, so if I select option all and if I do alt, so you see all my channels will change the patch to waves 1, waves 2, waves 3, waves 4. So it's just starting playing back everything from the waves thing. So you can just simply create a macro for this wherein you could go select alt input from channel 1 till 48 and you hit that button and it automatically changes your patch all throughout the console, and you're in your virtual soundcheck mode. An easier and better way of doing this to avoid these things. And trust me, if you hear this, if you check out this way, there won't be another way you would want to go to. So, as you can see, this one button on top, yeah, it says listen to copied audio. If you guys remember in the previous seminars, we did speak about this a little, but I'll explain it to you guys what exactly does it do. So what this guy does is as soon as I select listen to copied audio, so wherever the audio is being copied to, so say for example we copied our audio to our Waves port for that matter, or UBMADI. So as soon as I select listen to copied audio, it'll bypass the preamp signal which is on the stage racks, and it will start giving you the signal which is being played back from wherever it is copied to. That's all. And then on the exact same channel, say for example I had patched channel 1 to Waves 1, so Waves 1 will play back onto channel 1. So that's about it. And as soon as you hit this button, you'll start getting signal back from your laptop onto the console. I don't have a console with me right now, so of course you can't see the connections being established or audio coming back inside the console. But yeah, trust me, if you're recording with Waves and playing back with Waves, there is one thing that you should always keep in mind, which I have seen people miss out sometimes. So when you go to the console section over here, you see the enable external waves control. So of course it needs to be yes, that means that this is active. And if you're trying to play something back, or even if you're trying to get the processed signal back onto the console, you need to make sure that this disable loopback is also disabled as in it's disabling the loopback. So this should be selected. Only once this is selected, you will start getting the signal back onto the console. This, guys, please feel free to drop in a message. Let us know whatever you would like to hear from us more in the coming future, because trust me, we have tons of it planned, and we'll be doing more webinars in the coming future. We will have more in this week as well, so stay tuned. Just keep following the page, High Tech page, and yeah, you'll see what is up next. Thank you guys so much for joining. It was really nice. I hope it was of some good help and use for everybody, and I was able to give out good information and answer most of the questions. I hope you guys had a nice time. I did. And guys, please keep safe, everybody, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much. See you. Bye bye.